hell's been unleashed once more, because it's Slipstream Racing League. The season is about to come to a close. This is the penultimate event at Singapore, which tends to always be a good race, but based off the numbers you've seen, especially for this tier as its Champions tier, all season there's been at least 15 drivers, but no one likes Singapore. I agree. I've compared my laps to some of the quicker drivers and I'm about 2.5 seconds off each lap, so that's why I'm sticking with my notepad and my mic rather than a controller. But yeah, anyways, let's get on with it, as quali is now starting with 8 drivers today. Not as many as some would have hoped, but either way it's still something, ain't it? Well, they'll wait to come out onto the track. Let's post my stream around, shall we? And out of the pits comes 2 cars, I believe. May get another one just for good measure. But yeah, it's Singapore, fairly technical circuit, tends to be high downforce, and always a good one for league racing. As you can see, there's 2 Hasses. So Haas are going to have a massive points haul. Apparently 4 are meant to join throughout the duration of quali, and then 1 is either not going to appear or going to join just in time for the race. So yeah, we are currently following Dion in the McLaren. His debut, as far as I'm aware, I haven't seen him race before, so I'll call it a debut. But yeah, who knows. Well, you can see the McLaren DRS already open, just trying to build that gap and get a bit of grip for this circuit. But yeah, currently only 3 cars out, no one else choosing to come out as of yet, so it may be one of the more quieter sessions, to say the least, as through the penultimate, well, final slow speed corner it is, out of the final corner though, and onto the main straight, DRS wide open, and the lap has begun. Brake, get really close to the white line and just really follow the curbs round. The curbs are what you want to hit in each corner there. It's more like you can go straight line from turn 1 to turn 3. But yeah, turn 4 now, nice and close to the barrier. DRS now open again and just down the straight into the left hand as Hazara has joined, as Dion goes purple sector 1. Quite obvious, ain't it? He's the first man to do it. But yeah, who will continue to push on through the middle sector, really throwing the car through each and every one of these corners. There's Hefastaf on his way out of the pits. Ibrahim also has just joined, so now the lobby's looking a bit more competitive, as through the hairpin he goes after the Anderson bridge, gets very close to the wall but just stays out of trouble. And now again purple middle sector, of course still first one to do that middle sector, as Ali Haider hasn't took it away from him, as Mikal has also joined the session. It's now filling up, as through the final corners goes Dion. What will this banker be? It will be a 27.0, and Ali Haider to the line. It's a 27.5. What about Lex? He's proven numerous times he's fast, and he's just not fast enough. Only about 5/100ths of a second off going fastest of all. But now we ride on board with the owner driver, the Ferrari driver of their fast staff. How fast can he go is the question. But yeah, and now through the final few corners to start his lap. He's invalidated it before, he's even reached the line, so maybe not the best option, let's say, to watch that run. Kind of want to see what this McLaren's still pacing at. He's not really doing too much, which is representative. But Marco, SKF1, what can he do? He knows the boundaries, he knows what he can do. He's got numerous poles, but can't be said about wins. But yeah, he is now going into turn 4. His teammates are leaving it going fairly slow, but Marco is invalid. We will now just see him really pacing himself as DJ Death Dragon. I do not have my talking voice on. Just can't pronounce a thing. But Leo has came into the pits, so let's tune in with her fast staff, who is probably going to be prepping for a second run. Through the right then left into a double left-hander now to start his run. What can the Ferrari do? He'll be the first Ferrari to put a lap on the board out of the two, and he will be into turn 1 quite quickly, nice and swift, really chucking it through the corners, just using the full width, staying valid. Dion has left the session, however, so as long as he doesn't join within the next 10 minutes, he's going to be at best first. But at fast staff anyways, he's gone purple sector 1, but then that's just a base thing. 26.4, it's a quick first sector to say the least, but question is, how quick will it end up being? As now into the Singapore sling, renditioned, changed up since the, of course, chicane of death, but now it makes it a bit more flying into the hairpin after the Anderson Bridge, really jumping over that curb, may I say. But anyways, he's powering on into the final sector. 1:30 is looking strong, is all I can say. But is it going to be strong enough to take the McLaren off the top step? We will find out. Through the left now, powering on to the line. Try and stick it flat here, just stay in the right line and you're fine. He's only gone 4th fastest, but we will tune into the Stoned Hunter, who's going through the final 2 corners now. Not final two slow corners, these are the final 2 up to the line, and it's a 26.8. DJ Death Dragon only goes 6th, but what about Marco? He's gone a whole good 7/10ths up. Next driver to head up to the line is this Ferrari we ride on board with as we speak, rocking a Carlos Sainz helmet. Makes sense, he's in a Ferrari. But yeah, anyways, down the final straight, and now brake, right, left, just ride that curb a bit, get nice and wide, follow that wall right to the curb, and then just powers it to the line. But it will only be 8th, slowest of them all at the moment. But question will be, what can Ali Ada do? who we are now riding back on board with. To be fair, Lex is invalid, so I was going to say we could be following him, but we shouldn't really. Ali Hayder ever so slightly off his personal best so far. Has he already saved the best for the first run? If so, may not be the wisest choice. But anyways, he will push on. Will he do a Russell in 2023? No, he will keep it calm. And now through the rest of sector onto the bridge he goes. Lovely sight just to see him come off the bridge and start slamming on brakes. Yellow flags for Haas going slowly. But yeah, Ali Hayder, purple in the middle sector. He's finding a 10th and a half so far. Not enough to put him on top as of yet. But that Haas still going quite slowly on track. As Ali Hayder leaves the final slow speed corner. Now flat through to the line. Keeps it very close to the inside wall. Really reducing mileage. But still only 5th fastest. Who should we tune into? Ibrahim. That's a good shout. One Mercedes to another Mercedes. Will this Mercedes go up towards the top? But a lock-up has probably jeopardised his provisional pole attempt. This man's with a Russell helmet. I've just realised F1 driver helmets, yeah, makes sense now. I really don't follow details too well. But yeah, right, left, foot to the floor as soon as you get off that curb and keep going. Left, double left, he doesn't go as close to the inside, but that lock-up's probably forfeited him a very good shot, because this man, he competed for win in the Baku event. He also went for a half-hearted attempt at the win until Marco and Hazara ran off with it in Qatar. But today, he's only 8th of 9 who have done a lap. Hazara is on his out lap. So that's something to bear in mind. Both Mercedes not really on any pace at all. But what about the DJ Death Dragon, as we can probably see with this Red Bull? What's happened to the Mercedes? Was it a general DNF, or was it he's in the wall? I think it was he was in the wall, because that's not a position you just retire. So now DJ Death Dragon through to the Singapore Sling. He's on mediums, of course not a more serious run. Probably just going to see it out and just put some rubber down, as Ollie has tuned in. He should have enough time to get a lap on the board. But yeah, DJ Death Dragon not really on the best of laps, I'd say, but it's still just something to put rubber down. Make the circuit grippier, especially going over his line personally. And in the pits comes the Red Bull. As Hazara started his run, big snap in turn 2. Not something you want to see too early in a lap. Probably shows tyres are slightly giving up already, and he's still got most of the lap to do. Avoids the wall, which is very interesting compared to the others. They all liked pushing towards the wall. But yeah, Hazara, purple sector 1. It's a good first run currently for the Sauber. Very twitchy through that left-hander into Singapore Sling. How twitchy is the car still? Really keeping it nice and controlled through there. Now chucking it in. Gets right up to the wall, lock up, drops pace quite quickly, and then just pushes right up to the line. Make this really a straight line instead of a curved straight. Purple sector 1. No, not sector 1, sector 2, and it's the quickest sector 2 I've seen personally this session. Really looking to try and go to the top of the table. And now right, left, really taking a lot of that curb, drifting out of that corner and into the pits comes Hazara, That's interesting. Into the pit lane he goes, as we will ride on board with Lex for the remainder of his lap. Really going over the curbs quite aggressively, missing that one, but just gets nice and wide for that. Chucks it in, left to the line, and it's up to second. So that's a really good run, splitting the two Hasses, which is something you like to see, as Mikal finding a 10.5 so far on his lap. Is he going to move himself maybe up the pecking order, maybe in front of his teammate before the final runs are going to start, especially for those? Ibrahim, of course, out of this session. If you can't hear me, just say in chat, but I'll try and raise my voice. But this is probably as good as you can get at the moment, as Mikal is still finding a similar margin of improvement, now going down into the right left chicane, and now touch that curb, foot to the floor now, straight up to the line from there, and it will be a 27.7. It's good enough for 8th, but not as strong as he would have hoped. Not good enough to take his teammate down. One thing is, Ollie is on a lap 25.9 at the end of sector 1. Probably not the most representable of runs, but there is some pressure on him. Of course, a 1 run for glory-esque session for the McLaren. As into the pits comes Lex, as it's purple in the middle sector. He's found a lot of time, but then didn't find much in sector 1. Maybe it's just setup tailoring. But now through the final few corners of this lap, what will he be able to put in? There's a minute 46. He'll have to do 2 consecutive runs if he wants another lap, and he's in second just about. He still needs 7 tenths to Marco. Hazara is also on an out lap. That's going to be someone to keep an eye out on, as those who are yet to leave the pits could be at risk, especially now. It's not going to piece together for Hefastaf. He has a minute 20 to do the whole lap. A few corner cuts may be needed, but there really isn't much room to do them corner cuts. And you can tell based off the racing line being taken by that Ferrari that he's trying. Could this be like David versus Goliath? He's David against the laps timer. Is there going to be enough time though? I personally don't think so. He'll have to find about 3 more seconds so far this lap. Maybe more than that if he wants to do it. I would have just tried staying right all the way through that. But look at how aggressive this Ferrari is being over it. As yellow flags for McLaren. Could that be an attempt to really hold up Ferrari? Maybe. But yeah, there's yellows for Haas. Letting someone by. Hefastaf, will he do it? He's into the wall. That's his bid out of the way. Let's have a look at Hazara though. What can he do? There's numerous yellow flags on circuit at the moment, and this Alba just needs to keep pushing, needs to stay calm and composed, as he hasn't done a lap yet, unlike the 10 ahead of him. Leo didn't set a lap, he's gone out too late, as the checker flag has fell with about 4 others who can do it, but Hazara has crashed. He's gone into the wall, turned in a bit too early on the exit of the Anderson Bridge, and has paid dividends. But that will mean he will have to do a comeback drive. Session's over for Stoned Hunter. Marco, is he going to improve? Just for good measure, he'll go 4 tenths quicker. But there's no one else on a lap. Meaning, pole margin is 9 tenths here in Singapore. Marco being your man on pole, then DJ Death Dragon, once in a lifetime-esque moment for him. Of course, he wasn't too strong in Qatar, but he's really stepped his game up again this weekend. Ollie in third with 1 lap, Lex in fourth, Stoned Hunter fifth, Ali Hayder sixth, Dion 7th, Hefastaf 8th, Mikal 9th, Ibrahim 10th of the runners, and then Hazara has the pleasure of lining up alongside Leo into turn 1 on the back row of the grid. For those in chat, who's going to win? I'm putting my money on Marco for once. I usually say Hazara, as he tends to win most. But I'll consider Marco, you know. He could be a big threat, especially on pole at circuit, which isn't too easy to overtake at, as we've just been told that they will ready up at 29 past the hour for a 35% race, I believe it is, this event. So, some promotion. Join my new league. Comment down below and I'll give you an invite. If you want to join this league and race Saturday 7 PM, Sunday 4 PM or Tuesday 6 PM, also let me know in the comments. Also subscribe for more league racing content such as commentary. I'd love for you to tune in more than once. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that quali session. Now, who's going to win? I said Marco, but I'd really be keen on seeing what you guys would want to see in terms of the drive on the top step of the podium. And they have been given permission to ready up now. Question is, who will ready up first? I feel like it won't be another minute until they actually do. So yeah, it's already 20 seconds past a minute, make it 25, and we have not had anyone ready up. So fun. They may have got the message to ready up at R15, who knows. But anyways, the lights are up and now they're gone. As into turn 1, there you go. No pressure for Marco at all. He's in best position to win as he just powers on into turn 1. As there's a bit of kerfuffle behind him, but apart from that, he stays strong. Ollie sticks into P3. He doesn't want to lose any of these places in these early stages, and that's just gone really well for him, as Dion is AI, but Mikal and his teammate wheel to wheel. Mikal does back out but still has to duel Ibrahim, with Leo having a look down the inside now as Ibrahim's in the wall. Not the best of starts for some, but it's just getting better for Marco. He's almost a second clear. He was 9/10 quicker in quali, and he's already 1 second clear now. And we haven't even started the final sector of this race in general. So big gains early on for him, as his biggest competitor down in 11th, as there's just a snake which is slowly elongating as the groups really split up, the quick group versus the slower group. But Marco will lead us on to the second lap of 22 here, of course being a 35% race, decreased due to the lower numbers this weekend. But regardless of that, it's still going to be a race and a half. It's never over till the checkered flag. For all we know, Marco makes a mistake like Hazara did in qualifying, where he went into the ball in the Anderson Bridge. But who knows, as DRS is now in play, as there you see Ollie to the outside of DJ Death Dragon, and he's ahead before even considering braking into the fifth corner. He will just continue his charge for a podium here, as it looks like we've already got a winner. 1.5 clear is Marco, as Leo and Ibrahim you see just in the background before we fade out, moving up. But Hazara now moving up into 10th, as Ibrahim's race just getting worse really from here. And now if Hazara wants a bid to win, he needs to find a way past Leo now, because that gap's only going to get bigger between him and Marco. But as quickly as I say it, it's done. He's up into P9 now. He can pursue after the first of the two Ferraris of Mikau, and then Hefastaf just 2 seconds ahead of him. But now onto third lap. Ollie, fastest man of them all, and he's almost a second clear of this Red Bull, who didn't look like he had DRS at all. So maybe he already got out of the second needed just in time for that turn 1 run. And now DRS still in play all the way down to 7th. It's a mini DRS train, apart from Ollie, who's just pulling him away, as DJ Death Dragon goes purple in sector 1. Really shows Marco's outstanding pace in the first few laps. It's really died down now, and it's really a matter of fact who's going to catch him, because it looks like he's now down to earth, maybe saving tyres just to maybe extend and be quick at the end. As we will now change the details to allow you to see the tyres. It's only Hazara on the hards, so he's going to go for a massive charge at the end. As we can see there, Stone Hunter being pressured by Hefastaf, but the Ferrari will back out and stay behind the Haas for another sector, as Hazara getting closer and closer to getting within a second of Mikau in the Ferrari. As we just power on to lap 4, Marco in his own road still, just biding his time really, as Ollie really pushing track limits, as you could see on entry to turn 1 and throughout turn 2. He's trying to catch, but not catching enough at the moment. Ibrahim's in the pits already. What's he going to be going on to? Nothing, as he's pulled out of this race. And at this rate, Dion, who's an AI driver, because the man who was meant to race dipped out, he could now be in place for top 10 maybe, which could be big points for McLaren if they get classified. As Lex, big story at the moment, he's dropped out of the DRS range of DJ Death Dragon. As a result, he's going to be very much at risk of losing a place or two, as Stone Hunter had a look at Ali Hayder but chose not to. As DRS now in play, DJ Death Dragon getting close to Ollie, but not close enough as of now, as this little train continues around, really pulling each other's weight along. But will one pounce? No, they will wait till the next DRS zone, as DJ Death Dragon in a really good position to do so, Could he maybe have a glance into the first corner? DRS is in play, of course, as what looks to be obvious corner cutting by Ollie. Quite clear that he jumped the curb a bit too aggressively. Lucky to get away with a penalty there, but may just be him really trying to catch Marco now, to a point he's got carried away, as Ali Hayder to the inside. Lex tried pushing him, but he will have to take defeat as Ali Hayder really pushes himself through to guarantee P4 here. This man's been in great form. He almost got a podium out in Qatar. I actually think he did get it, if I remember correctly, and he's currently on for P4, as Death Dragon done it in a place you wouldn't have seen coming, in the Singapore Sling, one of the most notorious corners on the calendar. But anyways, can Ollie get back at the Red Bull, as Stone Hunter has clipped the inside wall? That's the Haas on the inside, which you saw briefly, as Hazara is about to get within DRS range of Mikau. But will he be triumphant for now is the big question. You could just see in the background Lex just dropping. He doesn't have too much pace here, which is a shame, let's be honest. He is a strong driver, but this track really isn't suiting him, especially for this event, as into the pits goes the Haas in P9. Is it going to be retirement? Yes, it will. Now there is 10 with 6 laps in, and errors are coming everywhere really. But Ollie now DRS on the Red Bull. Will he go for it? No, he's just too far behind. He could have had a glance, but chose not to. He will just continue like this for now. As what will Ollie do? For now, still just sit back. He's really pushing track limits, so lucky to not already have the first penalty of the race in his hands. But whatever he's doing, he's just pacing it to perfection. He's not cutting enough to get a penalty out of it. But now he could have had a look, again chose not to. Marco 3.4 seconds clear. Last time we saw someone this dominant, it was Baku a few weeks ago, and it still went to a photo finish. So could it be a photo finish here? Who knows? But yeah, Ollie now right up behind. Into the pits comes the McLaren, really riding the curb on entry, pushing a bit too hard. But the first stop of the race, a bit early, I'd say 6 laps in especially. Has he thrown the dice? But he's on the hards. Could be just to go to the end, as Leo picks up first penalty of the race in the Aston Martin. However, despite that, Ollie will actually come out behind his teammates, so is Hefastaf. To be fair, he could also be going to the end. But now, Hazara really getting frisky with Mikau. Maybe it's the right window for the harder compound of tyres, and maybe this is Ollie's and Hefastaf's way of making a place up on their respectable rivals. In Ollie's case, DJ Death Dragon, and Hefastaf's case, Lex. But Hazara just getting close, but not close enough for now. But that's all about the circuit. You need to be right behind the car ahead in order to launch himself past. And this could be an opportunity. DRS now available. You can see he's gaining, but he doesn't. He brakes earlier instead of later. Just gets rotation and foot to the floor now. Will he pounce? No, he won't, as Ollie moves up past his teammate. And into the pits comes Mikau. Lex 10-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. Hazara 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. You usually don't see that for a driver of his quality, but he's really been caught off guard this race especially. As now This is where the race really opens up. Whoever played strategy card right will succeed, but you can just see Ollie's powering on still. As DJ Death Dragon goes another lap, so does Marco. And now, what's going to happen here? Ibrahim has now left the session. I told you something was going to happen there, but not that. That wasn't on my bingo card for this year, especially this race. As Ali Hayder now just doing his job, just sitting ahead of Lex. Really had a poor stop, maybe because of Lex speeding, but as a result, he's got a Sauber behind him, who looks very pacey. So now, DRS in play. Will he go for it? No, he won't. Whereas his teammate, he'd go for it everywhere possible. So, very contrasting driving styles here today. As Lex seems to be pacing himself for this in particular. As Mikau is within DRS range of his own teammate. Ollie 3 seconds for track limits. He got it later than I expected, but he still got one in the end. As Alex just not close enough for the Mercedes. Is he going to do a reversal of the Mercedes done to him on about lap 5 and do it into this corner? But they've both got DRS because of the McLaren ahead. That's really going to allow Ali Hayder to hang on for a while longer. Is Alex going to get impatient though? Yes, he has. He's gone a bit late. He's clipped the rear of Ali Hayder and span him round, which is unfortunate. But now Hefastaf and Mikau both move up a place. Great for the Ferrari duo, who are really trying to get themselves back ahead of Hazara and give them something to defend for in the later phases. As still, 4 drivers yet to pit, one of course being Hazara, and then 3 on the mediums at the moment. As Lex dropping like a fly. Has something gone wrong there? Or is that him choosing to be a sportsman? Whatever it is, he's just slammed into the wall and got a bit more damage. So maybe it could be him being a sportsman, or it could just be him wanting to have some fun with this race. But what's going to happen? Big snap there. Into the pits comes Alex. I think that's going to be his race over. Not even before the half race stage and we've already lost 3. Yes, it is. He's chosen to DNF and retire from the session. I'd have just alt F forward, but that's also a route you could take. As it looks like the 2 Ferraris are just going to be pulling each other along, really working together mutualistically, as Dion is about to be overtaken by both of the Ferraris here. As Marco keeps going. Is he going to pit now? Maybe. No, he continues one more lap. What about DJ Death Dragon? He still thinks his race is with the leader. He's going to keep going. So it's getting very dicey up front. It's a question of strategy now. But then if Hazara pits before him, surely they're in a really good position for when Hazara chases after him in the dying embers. But we have just hit lap 11 of 22. Looking nice and symmetrical now. As Mikau now using the curves to their full advantage, maybe going to have a glance at overtaking his teammate in the next few laps. They're getting close to each other, but probably not close enough as of yet, as Hazara is practically a pit stop off the lead in this race. It's really not been his day. But then qualifying really summarised that for you, as Ali Hayder has picked up 3 seconds for track limits. And now, will Mikhail go for it? No, the Ferrari's just still pacing themselves very nicely as well. But question is, when will the move be done? Because I'll be honest, quite a few of you will get bored quite quickly just watching them fight. But Ollie, this is going to be a big moment for McLaren, especially in his hunt for the lead. He pulled alongside for a moment, but the Sauber's pulled ahead. He's gone to the inside. Is he going to go for it? He will. He's locked up. He will go off the track. He may have to give that place back, because he secured the place by going off, as DJ Death Dragon and Marco both pit. Death Dragon goes for softs. He done half a race on mediums. I don't think he'll be able to do the other half on softs. It's ballsy, but it's his best bid at catching this Haas, who has came out right behind Azara, 5 lap fresher tyres than Ollie, and only about 3 seconds off the McLaren. So it's probably his race to take, as Hazara would probably want to pit in a lap or so, just get this race over and done with really for the Sauber. As you can see how much more that time Marco gains in the corners than Hazara. You just can tell that the Haas is quicker and that Hazara is going to be holding him up quite a lot in this sector, as Hephastaff has crashed out in normal Singapore fashion. I'm back, but it's a virtual safety car, not a full safety car. That's going to go really well for Hazara. So is he going to pit? No, he won't. Why hasn't he? You can probably tell by my tone I'm confused, but he could have pitted, lost about 6 seconds and gained about 7. But yeah, that's just racing for you. Different choices. But yeah, 8 are remaining. Dion's pitting finally, as Marco to the outside. He's cleared him before the apex, and now Marco just has to chase after Ollie. What will happen though? Mikhail has just lost the place to Ali Hayder, possibly holding some damage in that Ferrari after what I believe was a collision with his own teammate, which saw him out of the race. We didn't of course see the most of it because we were following, well, Marco versus Hazara, 2 big competitors. But look at how much Hazara's just dropping off the fresh hards. It's about 3 seconds a lap. It's not even been a lap and he's dropped 3 seconds, so he's really off par at the moment. May not be his best of races in general, but yeah. As DJ Death Dragon moves up to 3rd, as Hazara now evacuates the hard compounder tyres. He's ran away, he's gave up with them, and now maybe softs to the end, maybe even the mediums, which would probably be a safer option. Yeah, it's the mediums, and he's gonna really come out in his own world. He may catch Ali Hayder and Mikhail towards the end, but that would probably be his main battle. But question is, Hazara or Leo? There's Leo, and there you can see Hazara. He's needing to make a place before he can do anything. Marco's got 5 laps tyre delta on the leader. He's gonna catch, but big question is how much will he catch? He was 4 seconds at the start of the lap. It's current 3.7, 3.6 now. It could look like he could catch him by about lap 20, and we'll have 2 laps of fighting at the end. But what we also want to see is Azaro's speed. He's probably going to get 6th at most here, unless something goes wrong in front of him. Maybe a puncture for DJ Death Dragon. I see that as a big possibility being on the softs, but anything can happen, especially in this league. We've seen numerous times. We've seen 2 photo finishes in 2 race events, so yeah, who knows. But there's your Sauber on the mediums compared to Leo, who's on 6 lap old hards. So by the end they should have equal tire delta. Hazaro will need to try and find something now if he wants to beat Leo. Also, regarding how Leo's gonna have to do another 7-8 laps on them hards, whereas Hazaro only has to do another 7-8 on mediums, which is a bit more sustainable than what they have to do. As Marco has gained about a second in a lap from when we last checked up on him. Could be, matter of fact, he's fighting him for the final 4 laps. As Azara perilously close from getting within DRS range. It's just like how Marco was catching him. He just gains a good 3/10 a corner on the car ahead, and he just powers himself forward. So, yellow flags though. Ali Hayder into the wall, and it's a safety car this time. Ollie may have just got a get out of jail free card with Okay, I'm back, and Ollie hasn't pitted, but he probably will this lap, so will Marco. DJ Death Dragon, Mikau, Leo and Hazara. It's anyone's game really, apart from Dion's of course, who's AI. But yeah, it's so what Hefastaf said, he lost the wheel to a slight ball tap, so it wasn't contact or anything, it was driver error. But yeah, well, top 2 now on softs, but that's a big change. Marco will take the lead through a singular pit stop. That's probably gave him the win, let's be honest. But who knows? As DJ Death Dragon was quite close at having a shot at nicking the place from one of the 2. So that went out very well for them. As Marco will lead safety car instead of Volley. It's going to be interesting to also see how this unravels. Mikau, next car to catch the queue. And then it will be the 3 at the back. And now Mikau has caught up. The back three should catch up by second sector next lap. Probably will be able to by the end of this lap. But it's really a matter of fact. How quickly does this AI get a wiggle on? Because it doesn't really look like he's gaining much on a safety car. More than anything, he's falling back now from the safety car. So could end up being them three out of this race. But now he's starting to catch. He's allowed to drop his delta. Look at how quick he's gaining now, especially. As we could be seeing racing for lap 19 here. A lot of messaging at the moment. But it's all about what's happened on track. But yeah, there's Dion, there's the Q just leaving turn 3, just for a bit of context, ain't it? As they have now nicely caught up. The question for those in chat now is, who will win? I'm still gonna say Marco. It's not game over for him, but it's not as simple now. What I think is Hazara won't have too strong pace, as he'll be on mediums compared to softs, for literally only a 4-lap sprint after this. The softs won't die. If they do, then he could win, but they shouldn't die, is the main message. Don't know though, it could be anyone. I still think Marco's got it, just based off also quali pace and how he started the original start sequence. He pulled out 1.5 in 2 laps on the field, 1 second in the first lap alone, so he's in a really good position just to pull away. And he's one of the 2 on the freshest tyres, by only a lap though. So it's a question, when will the Haas drop it? When will he just pull away? I'd do it here, but he won't. Instead, it's through the final few corners. And into turn 1 we go. Of course, Leo and Hazara making moves into turn 1 on the AI. Marco just has to pull away now. That's his job, nothing else. But it's a 6-horse race for the win in 4 laps. It's really anyone's game, as I keep stating over and over, but it's a must note, because for all we know, one of them could just tap the ball and they'll all be in the bin. As Marco, well, they all basically went purple sector 1 there, all being so close. As Ollie makes a little kiss with the, well, yes, it was only just Valentine's Day, but you don't need to make a move on something new too quickly. But yeah, it will be Marco who leads. He hasn't really had as much of the power he had starting on the mediums, a bit more grip as well. It's a lot more neutral here. Mikau's dropped out of DRS range of the top 3, so it looks like it's down to them, as Hazara will push himself up into P5. They're 2 seconds off P4, who's a second off top 3. It's gone from a 6-horse race in sector 1 to only 3 by the end of lap 1. of 4. I know it's a lap 19 going on to lap 20, but out of this sprint it's only lap 1. But now DRS is in play. That's another factor. Will DJ Death Dragon maybe take the win out of it? Will Ollie be able to? But then if he does, he will have to pull out 3 seconds to Marco. So will he be able to do that? But if he does, it will literally be a DRS train. As Marco defends Ollie quite nicely into turn 1. Not turn 1, turn 5. And as a result, he will lead a bit longer. As we can just see from DJ Death Dragon, the two really pushing each other, whereas he's just waiting for them to clip each other. They both go out and he'll just come through and win, which is really what their risk is of fighting each other so closely, as Ollie makes a lock-up just to avoid Marco. As DRS is all in play here, as Hazara is within DRS range of Mikau, just in front of him. But as Ollie has to do, he will have to put out 3 seconds in the remainder of the race. But there's only 2 laps as of now, so chances are it won't happen. Meaning it's a matter of fact, can he pull away from himself, Leo, and guarantee 5th? As Ollie getting close, but still not close enough to Marco. It's perilously close at the moment. Literally DRS means everything here, but it's all about track position at this circuit. As Hazara's moved up to 4th, will he be able to drop Mikau? I personally don't think so. It's 2 laps. He'd have to really become one of the top 3 in order to do it. As you can see him in the background, as these two continue dueling like lions. It's just relentless between these two, as it looks like it's a slightly better exit there by Ollie. Of course Marco pulling away due to Constantina, and you can see that Marco's using a lot more than what Ollie is. And it's all for the final lap now. Ollie's going to have a lot to deploy. He will have about 80% of his battery to do something magical with, whereas Marco only has about 20%, as DJ Death Dragon's burning it all up just to not even be within DRS range anymore. All Ollie can say is I won on track at this point, as it's final lap. Mikau still has 1.5 to lose from Hazara if he wants to lose P4, as it's now 2 seconds between them for 4th and 5th. As there goes Ollie to the inside, and that's him up into the lead. No contact either, so they're basically saying, yep, we will both gladly take podiums in whatever finishing order this is, because it will probably be flipped on its head, Ollie dropping down to 3rd, and then Marco and DJ Death Dragon getting a place each due to Ollie's 3-second time penalty. But Ollie can say he won on track at Singapore in the Champions Division of Slipstream Racing League. It's a trait quite a few want, and it's something you might as well put on your CV. I raced cars online and won at Singapore. It's a difficult circuit, but just to look at how he's done it though. Ollie is also just dropping Marco. So Ollie will take the win, but due to penalties it will be P3. He spins across the line just for style, and Marco will win. Hazara will take 4th in the end. Mikau 3.5 over the line, he'll be half a second off. Leo 6th, and then Dion 7th, but let's be honest, that will not be logged. But boy oh boy, that race had everything. Safety cars, VSCs, overtaking, strategy duels. Hazara being a mess, which ain't good for his title, as I believe he is world champion. Into the finale, may be wrong, we'll have to find out though. As Marco will win in Singapore, then DJ Death Dragon, Ollie in 3rd, Hazara 4th, Mikal 5th, Leo 6th, Dion 7th, Ali Hayder, Hefastaf, Lex, Stoned Hunter and Ibrahim all failed to finish this race. But that will be all from me. I hope you've all enjoyed this event as much as I have, and I should see you all later. Goodbye.